All right, so we're gonna hop into a video right now. I just thought I'd share a funny story. So it's not really educational, but it's just a funny sort of dating related story. So we went to go get food for a party that we were going to yesterday, and on the way there, well, during the course of doing that, something funny happened. So I would let you tell the story.
Okay, so I get to take over from
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
So there's a Starbucks inside the Kroger. They do those a lot. And went in, grabbed coffee on the way to the party because it's been a long day, all that stuff. Anyways, you were in the bathroom, so you were gone for this entire event up until your grand crushing entrance. So there's two baristas there, a guy and a girl, and they're both in the back kind of organizing shit, whatever. It was late, so I sort of like peeked my head over the counter, was like, hey, are you guys still open? And they're, yeah, be there in a second, just kind of like meh, moseying. And then the guy gets up to the counter and he stops and he like actually looks at me and he just goes, hello. I'm still not gonna get over the fact that he said it that way.
Which takes guts to say it like authentically, like for you to like manufacture that as an opener is gonna come off super lame, but the way he did it, it was actually sort of congruent, funny. Right?
It was funny, but I just kind of blew it off.
Yeah. But like the vocal tonality you have to use when you say it. So I'm chiming in here with my educational, like the vocal tonality you have to. So when a guy gets sort of like flustered by a girl, he's not going to be able to use vocal tonality in the same like dynamism as like somebody that's just loose, right? Mm-hmm. So for a guy to be like hello like that without being like impeded means that he's kind of loose. So that's like a plus for this guy. But anyway, continue.
You had a lot of pluses for this guy, for the guy
who
was hitting on your girlfriend. Blew it off, ordered your coffee, and then ordered my coffee. So I ordered 2 coffees. So it's obvious, I'm either taking it to somebody, expecting to interact with somebody.
He was mesmerized.
I ordered 2 coffees, and so he asked my name. I tell him Sabrina, and of course it's like Sabrina the Teenage Witch, which everybody says. So I just kind of smile, just like that, just great.
Never heard that one before.
Yeah, and so I kind of zoning out. I'm waiting on him to get back. I'm like in like go mode. We gotta get the shit, get the coffee, get the shit, get to the party. And he hands me my receipt, and I go to grab the receipt, and like my hand just like slips off it, and I realize he's like holding onto the receipt super firm. So I kind of look back at him for a second, and I go to like grab the receipt, and I start to pull it again, and he's still holding on to it, like not letting it go until
That's
I like.
Plus. I love it.
So I'm like sitting there, like staring at him, like, "Are you gonna give me my receipt?" So he finally laughs a little and like lets the receipt go, goes back, makes the coffee, whatever. Or he makes your coffee, hands it to me. No.
I don't remember.
Anyways, okay. Anyways, makes the coffee, so I walk over to like where you would pick it up, and that is when you were coming back out of the bathroom.
So I walk up to her and I'm like, I don't know, just being funny, right? And so I just walked up to her and I'm like, hey, I don't know, like I almost did it like I would like in the grocery store if it was just anybody. I was single, right? So it's like, hey, I saw you from over there. I think you look cute, blah blah blah. And then we like role played it for a second. She asked me what my name was. Like, you smiled really big, and then there was this moment of like funny tension where we both just started laughing, and then I gave her a kiss. And the funny part about the story was like,
so I'm like out of the corner of my eye, right? Like this guy has made it very clear that he's like interested and not gonna be shy about it or whatever. So I was fully expecting him, like if you weren't there, to try to hit on me again when he gave me the coffee.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of like out of the corner of my eye, like I'm watching, and he's like watching this whole thing with like this certain level of suspense, right? Because in his eyes, he just hit on this girl, she's waiting for him to bring her coffee, and then now some other guy is coming up and moving in on the girl. And then, like, lo and behold, it's the boyfriend. And so as soon as I kissed you, like, you could just see, like, the whole change in his demeanor, like, fuck.
So the funny part about the story is, like, I didn't know that this was going down, right? I was in the bathroom. I had no clue that, like, that this had all transpired. You know, I just thought she was getting coffee or whatever. And so I walk up thinking I'm being, you know, cute and funny or whatever, and then it just totally, like, smash your game. And he actually did good, too. He did good by, like, the opener and then, like, the way he held onto the receipt. Like, it wasn't in this, like super
Creepy.
try hard,
yeah, he was just being funny and playful.
Yeah.
But
even then, I was like,
Mr. Charm and Charisma has to come up.
That was pretty awesome.
It was funny. And then as we checked out, the cashier made a comment to me on how cute you were. But girls can do that. We can compliment boyfriends like accessories. Yeah. You know.
That was funny. So we were talking about that on the way out. That like you never really see a guy go up to another guy and be like, "Hey, bro, your girlfriend's hot." You know? But
as we're checking out, I told her that I liked her nails, because she's had these like really cute sparkly nails. She's like, "Yeah, I'm just a sparkly person." And somehow the conversation led on. She said something to the effect of like that you were attractive or whatever.
Like,
and I thought it was
your accessories too.
Yeah, I thought it was really funny that she basically complimented him like, you know, she would a purse or necklace.
Yeah,
or
right.
Accessory.
Yeah, that's so funny.
And I've had that. You're not the first boyfriend that I've like had people do that with.
Yeah.
Like I've told you a couple stories. Yeah.
Like it's a thing. It's a socially acceptable thing for girls to do that. But yeah, it's funny because like as I think about the story, I'm like, okay, so pluses for the guy because, okay, as she walks up, now if he hesitated, let's say he saw her walk up, right, and then he was like getting in his head like, oh, what am I gonna say? What am I gonna do? That would have been fucked. Like, let's say she was single and actually was attracted to this guy, which didn't seem like that was going to be. He didn't have a lot going on in that department, but like, but pluses though, like the personality side is good. Like, so had he watched her walk up and he premeditated something, it would have came off as lame, and then it wouldn't have worked. But he did sort of what the conventional advice is to do, which is to, you know, within the first 3 seconds of noticing a girl out in public, if it's somebody you're going to approach, you go do it right away. Because if you wait any longer than that, if you hesitate, you start getting in your head, and then you just justify why you either can't, or by the time that you do it, you're so scared that it's just going to come off as really bad. Because like your goal is to add to that person's day, basically. And so,
which he did, even though he wasn't attractive and I'm not looking, he still did.
Right. Hey, we got a story out of it. So when he saw her, like that reaction, it was an honest reaction. And it was, it was spur of the moment, right?
Yeah, it was funny because it literally came out of his mouth like the second he saw me.
Yeah, that's good. That's awesome. That kind of stuff is good, you know? And then so we were talking also, so when he held the receipt for a second, you know, imagine if he didn't do that, he just handed it back. Then he would have had nothing to further sort of like jolt her out of, you know, like live my life mode. Yeah. And so by holding it for a second, he forced her to sort of like exit, you know, zombie life mode or whatever. Like just, you know, think about coffee, think about boyfriend coming back from the bathroom. You know, like he forced her to exit that and sort of take notice of him for a second. So I think all this stuff is cool. Like if you're a single guy and you're thinking about, you know, like how are you going to talk to a girl out in public? It's like, yeah, you don't want to get too much in your head, and you do want to do things that sort of force them to take notice. And this is the part that we all get scared of because it's awkward for us too, right? So you know that you're going to put yourself in front of somebody and force them to notice you. That's why a lot of times guys will like come up with like a weak approach. They'll either use like a softer voice or, you know, like come in from an angle that's just like, it's sort of easily dismissed, right? It's low investment, low risk. And that's the kind of thing that you can brush off easily, right? And just
move
about
not even notice.
You may not even notice. If you do, you're just like, you're barely going to give it any attention. Just going to brush it off, keep moving.
It's the equivalent of waving in Messenger.
Yes. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, it's easy. You just fucking delete it.
Messenger.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you got to get out there. So the way that we met, and said in the other videos, is like I sent her a short video message. That's the only way to break through. Like if you're gonna talk to somebody online,
it still cracks me up people's reaction when they find out that I met you on Facebook.
Yeah,
like,
right. They're
like dying laughing at the party last night. Yeah,
messages?
like that. Like he's like, what?
Yeah. So you got to break through all that stuff. You have to be seen. So you have to be comfortable enough to be seen. But when you want to make sure that you are seen, and that's what the receipt holding thing was. So, so I think that's cool. So that's why I got to give him his props.
All the baristas out there, you have a trick now.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. So funny story from the weekend. We're about to go trade some cookies at a nice little Sunday party. Cookie swap. That's all we're swapping. And that's it. Y'all have a good weekend.